Welcome back to Adobe Illustrator CC. In this tutorial, we're going to basically create or at least the beginning of, a sort of hazard sign for the zombie apocalypse. So here's several different sort of hazard signs: hazard material, keep out, biohazard. I like this kind of radioactive danger sign. So we're going to try and create something like this and then add our own little effects. Maybe, have the black slash and some other stuff. But yeah, so let's get to it. So we're going to start off in Illustrator, go File, New, and basically once we open that up, I'm going to set the width to 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. So I'm in the pixels unit. If you're in the inches, you just got to move down to pixels. No bleed, and basically RGB mode's fine. Click OK, and we'll basically have this type of document. Now I'm in the Essentials workspace, so you can hit Reset to Essentials and basically be in the exact same workspace as I am. And let's open that up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is hit Control R or Command R on the Mac to create my rulers here. And what I'm going to do is actually zoom in a little bit. And what I want to do is grab a guide here and essentially let it come out to the 500 mark. And typically, it usually works best if you just kind of zoom in here when you're grabbing these guides. Then you can line up pretty precise to the mark that you want. So there's 500. The other one I want to be at is another 500 because this is exactly 1000 by 1000 pixels. So I want to be at 500 by 500. So let's go ahead and zoom out and see how that looks. That looks pretty good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a guide for basically separating out the circle. Because if you look at this hazard sign, it has essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divisions. So the negative space is essentially an equal division here. So let's figure out how to do that. So there's lots of different ways you can go about it, but the easiest way is probably the Bowler Grid tool. And if as you draw it out, you can hit the up arrow to have the ellipses, and then add more pie divisions with the right arrow. So I'm going to hit the down arrow to get rid of all the circular divisions, and then I'm going to hit the left arrow until essentially I have, however many divisions I want, which is essentially 6. So here I have 6, but it's rotated the wrong way, but that's okay. We'll fix that in a sec here. So what I want to do is, I'm drawing this out, I want to hold the shift key. Now, it would be nice to know how big to have this at, but as we draw it out here, we kind of want it to fit in this space here. So let's see. If we click on this and kind of have it intersect, what we can do then is kind of rotate till we get to it to snap. And look at that, it works pretty well. Then what we can do is we can hold Shift and Alt and sort of grab a corner until we line up to the circle ends. And if it's a little bit off, we can kind of nudge it in here or there, but that's pretty darn close. And right now it doesn't have a stroke, so let's give it a stroke here just so it's easier to see. Go ahead and click out, and that looks pretty good. I mean, it might not be absolutely precise, but it's pretty close. Again, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but this looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is select this circle here, which is no longer a circle, it's actually a polar grid, and I'm going to make this into a guide. There is this one corner here which looks like it could come out just a little bit, so I'm actually going to grab it and just kind of allow it to snap back, and that lines up pretty good, because essentially what happens is the circle will line up with each of these endpoints. Like this one here isn't quite lined up, and all I gotta do is kind of pull out the grid just a tiny bit to make it line up. And now it's moved a little bit from the axes, so what I can do is kind of let it intersect a little bit, kind of nudge it up. Let's see. That looks pretty darn close now. So at this point, what I'm gonna do is convert this polar grid to a guide. And the way you do that is you go under View, go down to Guides, and Make Guides. Basically, any shape can become a guide. Now we have all these guides here, and I don't want to accidentally move these guides. So what I want to do is actually go to View, go down to guides and choose the lock guide command. Now what I'm going to do is choose the ellipse tool and basically center it here, and then hold shift and option on the Mac or shift and alt on a PC, and literally snap out to this end here, and then give it a fill of whatever color I want, just like that. Now if you notice here, what happens is there's like this circular cutout shape. So what I'm going to do is create that circle first. So I'm going to click out, grab the ellipse tool again, choose a different color. So I'm going to choose black this time, center up my cursor, and again hold shift and option or shift and alt on a Mac, and make it however big I want. Now I can be more precise about this. Like right now it's pretty close to 300 pixels, I think is what I want. So I'm going to release this and actually delete it, and basically just click out here anywhere. And what I can do is set this to exactly 300 by 300 pixels, and then click OK. Now it's not centered, but what I can do is go to the artboard and align to artboard and choose the horizontal and the vertical align, and that should be pretty close. Let's see if I zoom in here. It might be a little bit off from the guides, but you know, if we go back a couple, I mean, it's pretty close to being right on there. So now what I'm going to do is subtract those two shapes. So I'm going to select this shape and this shape, and I'm going to use the Pathfinder command. So I'm going to go to Window, Pathfinder, and I'm going to choose the subtract command, the minus front. So that gets rid of the center piece. Now what we want to do is get rid of these sections here, and or is it the top? Let's see here. Get rid of the top and then the two side sections. So let's do that using, we could use lots of different tools. We'll do some different ones. Let's use the line segment tool for this. So what I'm going to do is click on the anchor point, and it will kind of snap to this guide here, as you can see here, pretty close. So I'm clicking there, and then I'm going to click out, and then I'm going to repeat that same action over here. I'm going to click on this center point, and whoops, hit cancel. Click on that center point and basically draw out till I get about there. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is use the pin tool to connect these 2 points. So I can click here, I can click out, and then click here. So now they're connected there, but they're not connected down here at the point. So in order to do that, what I would do is select those 2 points at the ends, go to Object Path and choose Join, or use the hotkey of Command J. But now I can subtract these 2 shapes. So I can select these 2 and use the subtract, and voila, now that's subtracted. So the next step is to subtract this piece here, or I'm sorry, these 2 pieces. So what I'm going to do is use the line segment tool again. That seemed to work pretty well. Click here. I keep forgetting I click and drag. So I'm going to click and drag to go out past the guide a little bit, something about there, and then click out to escape, and then grab that line segmented tool again, and again center it up and click to about there. And now I'll use the pin tool to connect these 2 points, so click there. And the reason why, I just want to make sure I have clearance. I don't want to accidentally click inside the reds. That's why I added the extra point there, but you don't really have to. Let's see. Then I have to select these 2 endpoints. I'm going to use the hotkey of Control J or Command J on the Mac to join that. And then I select these 2 shapes and then use the subtract command again. Voila. There's only one more piece to do. We're almost there. So line segment tool again. Click from the center, and of course click and drag. If you just click once, you get the options for line segment. So I want to make sure I actually draw it out by clicking and dragging. Then click on the move tool to escape out. Choose line segment again. Start from the intersect. Come across to about here. And then release. And then I'm going to switch to the pin tool and actually connect these 2 points. And like that. Now, last thing I'm going to do is select these 2 little points and hit Control J or Command J to join that shape. And just to show you what that would look like, let me give it a different fill. So that's what essentially what it would look like, right, as a shape. And so I select these two and basically subtract. Whoops, it Control Z, Command Z on the Mac. I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed this trim. I want the minus front there. And it looks like, whoa, it still did that. So I think what's happening here, it's because this shape has multiple parts. When I click that, it does a bad thing. So let me undo a couple times, hitting Control Z, Command Z. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use, sometimes the Pathfinder does this, it gets a little wacky. I'm going to select everything and grab the Shape Builder tool. There we go. And as I hover over these areas, I can hold Alt or Option and basically subtract. So that's what I'm doing, just subtracting these little points here. And basically now we only have these three pieces. So now what we need to do is essentially have a circle in the center here to finish it off. So I'm going to basically hold Shift and Option or Shift and Alt and draw a little circle in the front there, and voila. Now if we look at the sign here, we essentially have it. We have our cool radiation sign. I am thinking of making a little altercation. I'm gonna probably create another circle and carve away. Basically finesse it, make it my own unique one. Maybe I'll carve out another section along here. So just to show you how I do that, maybe I would have, for example, like I'll use the pen tool here and click in. Maybe I would cut away a little section of something, like this. I don't know if I'm going to do this exactly, but I just wanted to show you in between tutorials what I would do. So, and then select this whole thing, use the Shape Builder tool, and basically subtract and subtract from there and have a little extra cutout thing. I mean, I kind of like that. I don't know if I'll have that exact thing, but I want it to be unique. I want it to be a little bit different. I'm going to undo that. But I will show you at the end what this will look like in the next tutorial as we continue our zombie apocalypse sort of cool symbol here. All right, we'll see you soon in Adobe Illustrator CC. Cheers.